Okay, okay. So this week we've got Harriet Ilott from Harriet Ilott Coaching, and Harriet is all the way from the UK. How are you going, Harriet?
Really good, thank you. How about you, Craig?
Good, thank you. Good. Thank you for being with us for this. Um, okay, so Harriet, can you tell us about your business, what the actual the aspect of your coaching business is?
So, I am a business coach. I've been working with small businesses for about 20 years now, but mainly focusing on the account side. I have always felt that small businesses are very neglected in the UK. And if they go to like a high street accountant or a high street financial advisor, anything like that, they still have to pay the big bucks that everyone else pays. And I just think that's so bad. So I've always worked with small businesses, helping them achieve their goals and where they want to get to. And Harriet Ilott coaching came around because I wanted to stop doing the account side and really focus on the coaching side, on the power of what, having those goals and using those numbers in your business and the difference it can actually make. I've seen it turn businesses from, I want to say surviving, but failing to actually thriving, and their profits just soar. They've got money in the bank. Suddenly everything becomes easier. The life becomes easier. The family becomes settled. People aren't going through divorces because they're not having the arguments over money. It really is such a powerful thing, and it all boils down to having that control of your numbers. So that is what we focus on.
Fair enough. That's good. It's amazing how much stress money puts on a family situation for one too, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
mm.
And having
So,
I have two kids, and they are just money pits.
yep.
um and yeah, it's just, if you can remove one of the stresses, it just makes everything so much better. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so being in the UK, how do you just focus on a certain area, or you focus on the all of the UK with your business, or do you go further abroad? Do you go further out, like internationally? Do you have, yeah,
Yeah. So I started just in the UK, just in my local area. I'm in Somerset, down in the southwest. So it's a really nice area, and I've driven thousands of miles going and seeing clients. But now, because of the joy of Zoom and technology, I'm dealing with people in the States, in Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere you can think of, really.
yep,
So we're all globally, the
yep,
the issues we have with our business are all the same. We may have different um different tax laws, different accounts rules and everything, but the actual basic process of getting money in the bank is the same for all of us, and the
yep.
struggles are the same. So yeah, it's very, can't think of the word of how I want to word it, but it translates very well globally. So
Yep.
yes, we are now international, which is very exciting.
Very good. No, that's awesome. Awesome.
Hmm.
So, what actually got you into? I don't know if you actually covered it also there, but what drove you into actually starting the business originally? Like you, because you wouldn't have always been in business, so you would have worked for somebody at some point. So what was the tipping point to go from being an employee into a business owner?
Oh, that's a good one. I used to work for an accountant who knew everything, but he didn't know a thing.
Yeah,
And one of those people that we've all met in our lives.
yeah,
And I remember sitting in a meeting with him, and there'd just been a huge case going through in the UK about trucks, like pickup trucks with the back seats. And he blatantly said the wrong advice to the client because he was trying to, be the big I am. And I sat there thinking, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And a couple of weeks later, he said he was going to make me redundant and take me back on as contractor. And I was like, fine. This was on a Friday. The Sunday, my parents and I went for a walk on the coast, as we do quite a lot. When we sat there having a cup of coffee, and I said, right, I'm going self-employed. I do not want to be an employee anymore. I never have been a good employee. Well, I work hard, but I do expect to be treated with respect. I don't expect to be treated like a number. And if you ask for my opinion, you will get my honest opinion, which is not what bosses want. Some bosses want you to just toe the line, and I can't do that. So it was just like, yeah, I can picture it still in my head. And this was like 20 years ago now. And it was like an anvil weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. Um, yeah, and I've never looked back. I do little jobs where I'm employed because I have to be because of the companies I'm working for, but it's a couple of hours a week.
Yep.
It's not anything major.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm not an employee person, and that freedom of being, self-employed and controlling your own hours and
Yep.
being around for your kids and all of that, I
Oh,
wouldn't trade that for anything.
oh no, no,
Never
it's
going back.
priceless. It's a
Yeah,
priceless thing. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So, no, that's fantastic. All right. So what we'll do is move on to the next part, which is based around like different obstacles, hurdles, struggles that we've ever had and that. So
Yeah.
has there ever been any time during your business journey that you've actually felt like throwing in the towel, like throwing your hands up and wanting to give up? And if so, what kept you going?
Um, there has been several times
Yep.
when things have gone wrong and it just feels like you're never going to get it fixed. But they're what I call like little hiccups. You've just got to plow on and get through it. But this is so my biggest hurdle I have is actually my reason why I do what I do. So I am doing my business because of my children. I've got a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my 7-year-old is neurodiverse. He's got autism and ADHD, and he is not ever going to fit down this little box narrow route that people want him to go down. And he, because of that, he's also my biggest trial with my business, because school quite happily send him home. We have meltdowns over nothing and all of this. And it's actually the time element. So you're you can have everything planned out to a T and it can just go completely out the window at the drop of a hat. And it just sometimes you just get to that point, you're like, I can't do this anymore, I've got to stop. And as he's getting older, it is getting worse at the moment. I know that's going to happen. But yes, I will admit, over just as we came out of COVID, we had a lovely time. I had him at home. We were, we had routine. It was brilliant. And then I started back at work and he started back at nursery. And all I was doing was racing everywhere. My stress levels were sky high. He was struggling. I was struggling. I was just thinking, why am I doing this? And unless you've been in that situation, it's actually very difficult to comprehend that it
Yep.
is a very it's a lot of pressure,
Mm.
especially when the schools always tend to, in over here anyway, they always tend to ring the mum. um it's not, can you get here when you can, it's can you get here now. It's like, well, yeah, okay, right, I'll just drop everything I'm doing. And I got to the point I thought, I can't do this anymore. um and then I thought, no, I can do this because I need to do it for my mental well-being. I love what I do as well. I like helping people. I like seeing other people's businesses fly,
Yep.
basically. So I came up with a compromise. I've reduced down the amount of accounts work that I do, which is all deadline driven, and quite honestly was starting to lose its sparkle a little bit because it was just sort of tacked on to the coaching and mentoring, that side of it. And then I focused on actually just doing the coaching, so actually helping businesses and families get where they want to go. And it's just turned everything around, really. I
Yep.
get that time with the boys. If I need to rearrange, I rearrange. And I'm very open with my clients about that. It's like, well, if I get a phone call, they come first. But although he may be the cause of this, he's been the inspiration for me to actually
Yep.
make a change and get it so it works for me and it works for him. And
Yep.
it's all experience, and and it has been an experience that I
Yep.
can pass on to other people and help hopefully them go through the process a lot smoother.
Yep. No, that's awesome. That's great to
Yeah.
hear. All right. So in saying all that, how you
Yeah.
have that hurdle and to deal with, when it gets to a like a if it comes to a time where there's sort of pressures building, how do you, is there anything you do in particular to help maintain the motivation for you to keep going on about your day, to even just pick your day up? if you're having like a day with full of hurdles, like is there any particular routine of motivation that you might use?
Yes, I have a lot of positive sayings around my office,
Yep.
sort of behind the computer. So
Yep.
when I'm feeling a bit, oh, they're always in eye line, so that always helps. But I always just remind myself, and I make sure on my phone screen I've always got a picture of the boys, so it
Yep.
reminds me whenever I pick the phone up or a notification comes through, I'm like, that's why I'm doing this.
Yep.
And if I'm really struggling, I stick on some music. It's just
Yep.
such a simple thing, but some really upbeat music, and suddenly I can get back into what I'm doing again. It's taken a lot of years to work out all these little tricks,
Yeah.
but things like music, or I'll go and actually sit and drink a hot cup of coffee, which is a
Yep.
rarity. Um, I'll actually go and have that, and I'll give myself 10 minutes and then get going again.
Yep.
And then I tend to make a list. Back to basics, but by just making a list of what I want to achieve that day,
Yep.
it gets you going. You can tick it off, and I'm a great one. I write everything down.
Yep.
It's just so satisfying, and it just gives you that motivation again. And I
Yep.
also find if you wake up and you're having one of those days where everything just feels on top of you, and you're just like, I just can't do this today. Just doing those simple little things, like finding that little thing that will get your positivity going again, which for me is just like the most beaty music I can find. It's got a real, it goes through you. Make
Yep.
a list of what I've got to do, have a cup of coffee, and then off I go.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love that. Love that. Okay, so I've lost my thing here. All right, I do know that you do use a business coach.
I
Um,
do.
yes. Now, um, how do you find that extremely valuable? Like, like the business coach you're using now, is that the first time you've used a business coach? Um, and also, like, if so, is it something you wish you had done earlier, or are you like, if you know what I mean, like, and you getting like you're obviously getting value out of it because I see posts popping up all the time in the community about it because we're in the same community.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're obviously getting a lot of value out of it. Would you recommend people go down that road of using a coach?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So when I started my business all those years ago, there was nothing like this available. And you just kind of had to wing it and hope you were doing the right thing. But I mean, it was very different then. When you wanted clients, you sent letters out.
Yep.
Like the whole DMs we get now, we used to send letters out to businesses that met what we were doing. Excuse me. And yes, I have a business coach now, and she's amazing. She keeps me on track. I meet with her every week. I have very great respect for her, and I trust her opinion. And I trust her if I need to talk about something as well and just get it off my chest or something's not working. Um, and I have had coaches before. I've tried different things. I've tried some of these programs where they say they're going to, coach you through and get you through everything, and wasted a lot of money on it. It's really a case for me, it was finding someone who I liked the values of the company. I liked that they were just real and honest, and that I actually liked the coach. And yeah, I get tremendous value out of it.
Yep.
Just, but you have to be coachable. You have to, accept the fact that you're not always going to be right. You've got to go with the change and go with the flow, and yeah. And when someone tells you you've done it wrong, or you've missed something, go, oh yep, I have. Let's just put that back in again. I often, when I go on webinars and stuff, so I love doing webinars because I get to talk and I love talking, so that's
Yep.
brilliant. But I also love going on webinars of things that I've done 10 times, because you always pick up something new, and it's just like, I dropped that. I forgot to keep doing that in XYZ. And it's just brilliant because you suddenly go, oh, it's like a whole new lease of life because you missed that one little step, and everything makes sense. So yeah, I think having that accountability to somebody is brilliant. And I don't personally think you can be a coach, excuse me, unless you're being coached, because it's a process. Yeah, and I wouldn't, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I will carry on being coached as long as I'm coaching other people. So, you know, there's the whole process there, so to speak.
No, that's right. So even coaches need coaches, and
Yeah.
most coaches do have a coach. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Now looking back on your business journey, is there anything that you would have done different, or you're quite satisfied with what you've done and how you've done everything?
I think the only thing I would do different is yeah, just not, you know, get sucked into these some of these courses that are out there where they promise you the world. And yeah, I mean, you know, we all do it. You have to do it for experience. So I never say I regret anything. I always just say that I've learned a lesson from it. Some of them may be very expensive lessons, but you have to learn from it some way. And I have also, you know, it's like, it's just, yeah, taking that time to find the right person. So yeah, no, there's nothing I regret. As I said, I don't regret stuff. I like to learn from it. But yeah, I would have done more research and found better coaches that, you know, resonate with me more,
Yeah.
which, you know, I found now. So I'm not wording this very well, but it's just, I think it's such a personal thing. So when I was doing my accounts and promoting my accounts, many a time I'd go and see a potential client and say, I'm really sorry, I can't work with you, because there has to be trust there, there has to be rapport, and there just has to be that gut feeling that you can actually help this person and work with this person. And I'm very much the same now. If I don't think I can help someone, I will say, I can't help you, I'm really sorry. I'm not going to try and sell them coaching sessions or a program or anything just because, you know, I want to try and make sales. To me, it is a calling, not a, you know, I'm here to help people, to serve. You know, I'm not here to just make sales. I'm not a salesperson at all. I just want to help and see businesses thrive. So it's, yeah, I think it would be, gone off topic a bit there, but I think it would be doing the research so that I had someone who had the same values as I do, which I've now found, which is amazing and truly valuable. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Love that. And I love the fact that, yeah, as you said, you're open and honest with people. If you can't help them, you're not going to just continue to get money off them and not help, like, you know, not really help them effectively. You'd rather pass it, like push them onto somebody else. So that's something that you don't see, like, well, you do see a lot of, but you still see a lot of people who they don't care. They'll just keep taking. Yeah, which is unfortunate. So, all right. Just one other thing, because you've answered pretty much most of the questions you answered through other ones, which is great. If there's one piece of advice you could give somebody who is either just starting out in business or looking to start out in business, what would be sort of one good piece of advice you could or would like to give to somebody?
Plan. You know, don't go for it, you know, get caught up in the excitement. Do get caught up in the excitement, but actually take the time to plan, work out, can you afford to do this? And if you can afford to do it, brilliant. You know, what do you need to bring in every month? You know, so plan all your finances, plan your goals, make sure your goals and your, you know, budgets that you're planning and finances you're planning actually tie up together, because sometimes they don't. You have to, you know, go slightly around the houses to get to where you want to go. So yeah, my biggest thing I always say to any new business or a business that's struggling or anywhere along those lines where they just need that little bit of help, my biggest thing I always say is to plan, and to, I know it's kind of a second bit, but plan with somebody else who has actually been there, who can actually help you as much as possible. Because although we like to think we know everything about the business we're about to set up, having an external person can help you just find those little cracks that you've missed and help you plug them.
Absolutely. Rightio. All right. Well, that'll about wrap it up. So thank you very much for that, Harriet. Really appreciate your time. It was great hearing all about that, all about your business and all about your struggles and that. So if anybody has, would like to look into Harriet a bit more and look into her business a bit more, all her links will be within the post. So she's, more than happy for you to reach out and have a chat. At any time, just keeping in mind too that Harriet's in the UK and we're in other places. So don't expect a reply straight away because there's a big time zone difference. So but anyway, all right, Harriet, thank you very much for that and really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Not a problem.